Good evening, race fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the CIL Formula College Championship. I'm Matthew Nordberg. Joining me up here in the booth tonight, Joshua Crane as well as Alex Hallinar. Josh, we're looking for a fantastic race here tonight at Road Atlanta. We've seen lots of action at this track before.
We have. It's really exciting. This is a favorite. Very vocal drivers leading up to this one, as they're pretty excited for this track, and it's a staple in IMSA, a staple in North America, and yeah, it typically has some really good sections. As you see the S's on your screen there, there will be a lot of excitement through that sector, and then there's one of the longest straightaways in North America, leading down into the final chicane, and so. Yeah, this is going to be a good test of drivers. There's driving styles that'll be lent to the first part of the lap, the second part of the lap, and even the middle. Drivers go around the long kind of double apex, hairpin or two turns, if you will, and then back down the long straightaway. And there will be plenty of drafting for cars, and Alex, I expect that we'll see a lot of late braking and maybe even a little bit of contact into that chicane.
Absolutely, that's one of your best passing opportunities here on the track. If you want to get a job done, that's where you got to get it done.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. Big passing opportunities going to be going into that chicane, coming off the draft, as well as into turn one. If you can get into the inside of turn one there, get some grip, you'll have a good opportunity to complete a pass, but you'll want to do so before you get into the blind right-hand apex there of turn three, as it goes up over the crest, and these drivers know you want to aim for a little pine tree that's there situated just over the hill. Maybe we'll get to see that if we have an onboard lap, but nonetheless, these drivers are going to have their work cut out. The track is pretty straightforward, but it is technical, no doubt. You can see these drivers just like Nick Daly on your screen. In fact, on board now for a lap is Nick Daly, and the University of Texas at Arlington, again, trying to use all that room up to the left side, and very fun here as the car loads up, and a lot of weight on the suspension. You can see that tree straight ahead. Boom! Now you want to see where that apex pops up. A little bit of curb for this driver, but back on pace, trying to find the best line through the S's. Here's another tricky part. Braking uphill, your car's going to bounce off the curb, grab the curb, bounce there, use a little bit of extra curb. That shouldn't be a 1X, so the lap's still valid for Daly at this moment. Coming in, this is fun. It's kind of a pretty banked turn, and you can get the car through there. Might be second gear through here, just a touch of curb and back onto the long straight. If you do grab the curb on the outside, you want to be pretty straight on for it. Not a lot of grip on that curb there, but this is where you're going to see a lot of drivers trying to draft, trying to gain position as they go down into this final chicane up over this hill, and being able to get the car lined up, pick your braking point, and understanding how much fuel's on board, how hot the tires are, getting a little bit of curb, a little bit of grass even coming on. Pretty clean chicane right there from Texas at Arlington up over the hill, and it'll be flat out to the line, and these four cars right here. That's a lap around road, but again, Alex, really fun track for these drivers, and there are a number of passing opportunities.
This certainly is a tricky track for the drivers. We see this, blind corner here. We saw on that onboard lap, Nick Daly was getting a little loose, but you gotta send it in there to get some lap time out of it. You got so many curbs here that can upset the car, and if you do go off track, you often have grass that's there to take you out. All that while dealing with all the other guys on track and trying not to have them take you out.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving obstacles at Road Atlanta, and I think you mentioned it, hitting those curbs. There's really going to be two things these drivers, as they go bouncing over the curb tonight, they're going to have to do so to be fast and be up at the front, as we saw Nick do. Your current pole sitter, by the way, Nick Daly. That was a 121.296 that we rode on board for previously, but you can give it a little bit of gas, transfer a little bit of that weight to the rear to try and get some grip through the middle and exit of the corner. The other thing that these drivers will want to do is make sure that their car is pointed straight for corner exit. So that's really going to be the two main tools that these drivers have in these open wheel cars. Again, chassis, a little bit of downforce here, to get around this track quickly and get around it in one piece. And yeah, for our 2 races tonight, Alex, it'll be about 15 laps in each heat, and that'll be enough time for the race to develop, but it'll also be enough time for a couple drivers to make a few mistakes.
Absolutely. 15 laps isn't a lot of time at all. These drivers are going to, especially the drivers that are going to be towards the back, they're going to want to start going early, and that just means that more craziness will happen during these races.
Yeah, it will for sure. And so you can see right there, that's the University of Clemson. That 23 machine, Andrew, is really fast, both on oval and in road. Doing a little bit of tire testing previously, and back out to see what's going on here in the F4 side here at Road Atlanta. So pretty fun, and we'll see a lot of purple and orange this evening. Again, Road Atlanta. We know that the Orange Wheel Racing drivers, as you see Andrew Burrell right there, a little bit of slide, slip angle into that corner. They really enjoy this track, and they enjoy racing each other. So it's going to be a good combo. Alex, I'm pretty excited for this race. Road Atlanta is one that I tend to circle on my calendar.
Absolutely. I believe all the drivers were clamoring for this to be on the schedule. And, you know, fortunately we have it, as we see one of the drivers go off there. That is Lucas Santos of the University of Minnesota. He gets all 4 tires back on the black stuff, and he's going again. As I was saying, a lot of drivers were fighting for this track. It's a pretty fun track with so many corners. It's a fast track with a lot of speed, and it's not very forgiving. A lot of drivers love it.
That's a good point. It's not very forgiving. Viewers may be familiar with tracks with bigger corners, maybe wider track, and then more runoff on the outside.
Formula One.
But exactly, but not quite the case here at Road Atlanta. Does see a lot of excitement again. IMSA going here, and a couple of their big popular North American series. But it will be tricky for these drivers tonight to figure out where to place their cars and how to manage the race. We know that Ball State has been really, really fast all season long, and tonight will be more of the same, I would expect. Muhammad Ali, the duo, both down really solid lap times. In fact, in qualifying, P2 and P3 right now, as we get probably about 4 minutes to go in qualifying. But these drivers are going to be ones to watch. And also IUPUI's Cohen Evans has been really quick. And you mentioned it, yeah, trying to find all the good lines from the University of Minnesota. He was on the podium 2 weeks ago at Tsukuba, and so that's going to be another fast car. He's had questionable luck, pretty limited if he can get past the first lap or so. But that's going to be a car to watch in that 05 machine. In fact, you can see 2 cars, IUPUI, the 37 car, that's Cohen Evans, able to make the move right there. And I believe that was a Drexel machine we saw taking some extra grass through the final corner there.
So hopefully we stay, looking at these 2 cars here to see just how strong the draft is. This is a really long straightaway. A lot of time for guys to make a gap and maybe lick the stamp and send it going into turns 10A and 10B.
It is, and you can see that gap even closing up a little bit as we go down into the final chicane. And it is tricky, but Alex, as you get there, these drivers will have to manage the lack of downforce should they find themselves right up under somebody's wing. That's going to be tricky. But Nick Daly has improved time, apparently, 28.65. Did come through that this last lap, that blue car at the back of your screen was Daly. However, he ended up invalidating that last lap, making that course a little bit too short. So that is another one. It's going to be pretty easy to rack up the incident points because there are so many opportunities. We talked about, Alex, you want to gain the time. That was probably a little bit too much grass there from St. Clair, but you want to grab as much curb as you can while maintaining track limits.
It's so tricky. It's not necessarily just the track limits, but you have to hit that curb just right. These Formula 4 cars are low to the ground. Some of these curbs are really high, especially by turn 5 at the end of the S's. if you hit that corner wrong, you could be just sent right off course into the grass, and at that point, you're just a passenger.
Yeah, that's an excellent note. And a couple St. Clair cars. Yeah, actually, as we do see, my my other monitor continues to show a few more 1Xs and 2Xs as these drivers have all put in their safe times, and they're searching for every little bit of speed so they can get that perfect lap. And going through, yeah, you can see probably a little bit of grass. Daniel Hunter there in the 49, so that would be an invalidated lap as well on your screen, but he's gonna finish this one out. The 43 car, another Clemson machine. He's going to try and make a pace coming up through the S's now. And I suspect that right here, as we run by the gravel trap, we're going to see a little bit of contact there, especially in the second heat, because it's really one line through there. The alternative is that two cars can slow down, but it's really going to result in anybody behind them catching up, and they would have to be pretty astute to anticipate that drop in speed. It's definitely 5 to 10 miles an hour or so.
Astute, that was a pretty big word. I don't know what that means, but all I know is these first couple laps, especially the first one, is going to be crazy. A lot of these, corners in the first sector, there's like really one line, and they're kind of awkward to kind of get two cars in it, and it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive these drivers are, and if they're willing to stick their noses out in places that they maybe shouldn't be.
Yeah, and now it should be time for the grid for this first heat race.
Yeah, looking forward to this first heat race tonight. Two heat races. First heat race based off of the qualifying time, so that's going to put Nicholas Daly out of University of Texas at Arlington on pole position with a 120.885. Right behind him, Muhammad Alif from Ball State in second on the outside. Cale Davidson from Ball State is the third position finisher in qualifying. And right to his outside is going to be Daniel Hunter, the first of many St. Clair College cars in the field tonight. Fifth is Cohen Evans out of IUPUI with Zach Lindler out of Lennar Ryan University in sixth. Andrew Williams from Clemson in seventh, and Alexander Diamond from Drexel in eighth. Lucas Santos from Minnesota Twin Cities, we saw him in qualifying, set a couple lap times. He will start in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is John Dinkle out of Rose Holman. As the grid gets ready to go here, and we are already green for this first heat race of the night, Josh.
Down into turn one, you can see Ball State looking good on the outside. He'll try and get a jump on Nick Daly. He's got an edge, but does he complete the advantage? Looks like he might. Down into turn one, that is Muhammad Alif, I believe, in that 12 machine, who's going to jump out to a lead right there. So Ball State, Texas at Arlington, and Ball State, your early top three. Down through the S's, most drivers agreeing single file. A few back in the back are trying to make their way on track. Alex, we are not surprised to see a little bit of excitement there as these drivers get sorted out. However, moving on through the field, you can see down into the final turn, Clemson and Drexel University going to try into the corner. Drexel going to complete that pass. That's Alex Diamond from Drexel University. Had a really good showing at Tsukuba again 2 weeks ago. And you can see right there, he's going to try and make his way past Lucas Santos. However, the draft is on Alex down into turns 10 A and B. Clemson's going to move out, and that's going to be Andrew Williams. Can he put the move down to the inside? You see a couple drivers trying to complete the same thing, about wing to wing by the time they're in, maybe front axle to rear axle, but too wide into the corner and very late on the brakes. I wonder if maybe Diamond gave a little patience right there, but the pass completed, and that's going to be one of the formulas all night, Alex, that these drivers are going to use to move up the field.
Absolutely, and we noted that some guys might stick their nose on the inside there. Andrew Williams is spinning to turn one.
Spinning indeed. That's not what you're supposed to do. Looks like he just got a little bit loose there. We know that these cars are the brake bias is really far back in these cars if you're going to be fast. And it looks like Williams, yeah, cold tires just wasn't ready for that transition right there and that weight transfer. But moving on now, the University of Minnesota, Lucas Santos again going to try and make a move on IUPUI. Probably doesn't want to overextend right here. He's going to look to the inside, but keep that position defended. Yeah, you can see right behind, that's going to be the St. Clair machine. And Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. Except loose is the St. Clair machine. That's going to be an awesome opportunity for Minnesota there. That 73 car is loose. That is Zach Lindler, Lenore Ryan. And yeah, down back into the corner. We'll see if the University of Minnesota can take care of business. But looking right now at the 888, Andrew Burrell in the background again. Wing to wing down into the first corner. Turn 10, and the University of Minnesota going to make it work, but not quite carrying the momentum. We'll see if they can try again in turn 1.
You said it best, Josh. Cold tires, rear brake bias. Those are the two things that can get you in trouble. It's so easy to just lose the rear end like that. Even I'm not sure if Andrew touched the grass, which if you touch the grass, that's gotta send you around.
Well, touching the grass 100% is not recommended. 10 out of 10 doctors do not recommend touching the grass. But going back through the S's, key to note, Texas at Arlington. Look at that car slide around. He is using those tires right now. Love to see it, and he has gained that first position back. So new leader, Nicholas Daly, right now, as he goes through and tries to put just any distance between himself and R. Muhammad Alif. We know a really talented driver is Daly behind the wheel of that blue machine, but so is Ball State, and so is these drivers try and get it figured out. There's just a little bit of gap ahead, and then back. Boy, just a train ready to pounce on any opportunity.
As we see two trains going on, it seems like Cohen Evans and Luke Santos have lost the front pack, as it looks like Lucas Santos is making another move. He's not quite alongside. He's still along. Oh, wow, he loses it coming out of the corner, but ends up saving it. I'm surprised that he was able to keep the momentum up and, able to keep going. But it seemed like Cohen Evans might lose another position before turn 1 to Christian Hill.
Yeah, that's super tricky right there. Christian trying to make the most of the opportunity, but I think IUPUI is wise to it, and Cohen is going to try and get back in line. He's got an opportunity here, not too much distance to Minnesota. Although really slow right there, or maybe Christian pretty fast, but nonetheless he's going to have to focus less on the car ahead and look a little bit in his. Going to be a little bit tricky for these drivers to get it figured out, but yeah, right here Christian Hill, pretty bad move from Christian right there. This is going to give Cohen an opportunity to come right back with the draft. I don't know if I'd have done that if I was Christian. See how it plays out.
I mean, this straightaway is where you get the draft. That's not necessarily DRS. Formula 1, we've seen guys, try and fight for that DRS. But still, he's got, the outside. It seems like Cohen Evans has the inside. How far did they send it? As even still, if you don't get it done in the chicane, you still have this front straightaway to maybe get alongside enough to, get the position in turn 1.
Yeah, he does. That battle rages on as we check in on the, here we go, back down into turn 1. Come inside, he gets the inside. Christian Hill deciding, yeah, that was not where you want to be, as there's a car up top, I believe. And yeah, you can see Cohen Evans right here. He's going to try and put any space that he can between himself and Hill. Also, as you can see behind, that's going to be Zach Lindler and Athena Leclerc trying to go to work here in this draft. So this draft, Alex, really, it does keep the cars pretty close. It keeps these drivers competing round and round. There's a couple long straightaways here that you can get a draft, set up a pass, and maybe not unlike short track or oval racing, you can trade a few corners. And there is an art to completing the pass once and for all.
Yeah, so something that I am noticing that, some of these guys are battling and losing touch of other cars. As this battle that is still going on between Christian Hill and Cohen Evans has brought Zach Linder and Athena Leclerc right behind him, and Luke Santos has been pulling away.
It has, and you mentioned St. Clair College trying to dive underneath there and put a wheel, but just backed out. Shout out to Zach Lindler, who gave probably more room than he needed to, though the alternative would probably been to be clipped and be turned around in the gravel right now. So Interesting car placement from those two, but we race on, and we love to see it. So, see Ball State University getting a little bit held up, and you actually see Daniel Hunter right there, the leading St. Clair College machine, and he's trying to make a really strong push forward to get around those two Ball State cars. But man, that's two Ball State cars lined up is going to be a tough pass for sure.
Absolutely. These these guys are going for 14 positions. These Ball State guys are fast week in and week out. It's not going to be an easy task. Also, you know, looking at these cars, they kind of look like Senna. That like 90s McLaren. Maybe there's a psychological factor there as well as we saw from that shot. Nicholas Daly is pulling away from these guys. It seems like they're battling and slowing each other down to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think so. As these drivers trying to figure out, don't know if this would be a time for any team orders, as Elite not really pulling away from his teammate, but that will be up to Ball State. Back at the other battle was a good note that the 61 of Athena Leclerc did complete the pass on the 73 of Zach Lindler. Just a touch of grass was all it took, and pretty opportunistic, well done move from Leclerc, who was able to figure it out. And now actually the 73 is around and through travel trap just beneath your screen. The 73 right there, that's not what Zach wanted, and is actually towed to the pits there. So taking that car back behind the garage. Perhaps we see him again in second race. Back on your screen here. And yep, right there was the move from Lindler, I believe. Not
unfortunately, unfortunately, he took the phrase "touch grass" a bit too literally there.
He did. That's best done post race. Back to IUPUI. You can see it. 61 now has actually set her sights up on the 085, the 37, and this battle. That 37 being in sixth place right now. IUPUI making a really good run at the moment. Such a long run and such a delicate move to be on the brakes down into the chicane right there. That's going to be an area that these drivers have to negotiate. We've seen it already this race, but super awesome to watch these cars. Maybe we'll get some onboard shots heading down into turn 10, especially side by side. Awesome to see these cars on the brakes and using this. Another car is off. That's the University of Minnesota and Lucas Santos. Really good run. Actually scored 5th position. Before that, so Lucas Santos will lose that position and relinquish P5 to Cohen Evans. So IUPUI. And Alex, this is not the first time we've seen that drivers who are keeping their nose clean are benefiting.
It's all about risk versus reward. You have to put your car in the limit. As always, we saw, we just saw Cale Davidson go a little bit over the limit, but luckily he was able to get away with it. But, you know, the more you put your car on the line, the faster you go. And unfortunately, some of these guys are dipping a wheel in the grass and it's just going around on them, especially in turn 1.
Yeah, and turn 1 is such a high-speed corner, and there's such an element of trust that that your suspension and your car loads up and takes the grip. It's hard to judge, and so not surprised, Alex, to see cars off in that area. But going down, we said back down the long straight. Going to have the 888 and the 67 of Michael Tognati. These are two teammates. In theory, we will see how they get on down into the final corner. But yeah, awesome shot as you can see. And how hard is it as these cars go brakes and cinch up just a little bit, very close to each other, and will separate again up over the hill. But Andrew Burrell doing everything he can to keep, Michael Tognati trying to keep everything at bay and succeed here doing this. So that 888 machine in the lead. Nick Stockner, another Clemson machine, and he's trying to protect from Drexel University's Jason Wallat right now, and really good position. Both cars kind of keeping clear of that blind there.
Yes, I'm actually looking at Nicholas Daly here. He's about to catch the lap traffic of Aaron Quo. Aaron Quo heaps to blue flag, it seems like, or he might have to do it down the straightaway. Let's see what happens here with the leaders. Yeah, I think Nick Daly will clear him going into this corner easily. All right, so that's our first bit of lap traffic. Oh, am I looking at a replay? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm half a lap behind.
I think that may be. So Nick Daly coming through turn 1, but on your screen is Christian Hill, who continues his now several lap defense of his position. That is going to be P6. And Athena Leclerc and St. Clair College have decided they want to be right there. Again, being a little bit cautious of that curve and coming up over this blind turn 2. See if anybody's a little bit more bold. Yeah, not too much. I think everybody really taking that. In fact, I can see Christian Hill did get a 1X, so a little bit too much courage from that Mount St. Mary's car. But I'll tell you who likes this is Cohen Evans. This is giving him just the slightest amount of breathing room, Alex.
Absolutely. If he can just get away from the draft, that takes away a big advantage from the second car. Athena Leclerc is on Christian's gearbox right now. She's had a long week already. She ended up flying down to Las Vegas this weekend for a Pennzoil event, and now she's back in. She's sim racing again.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Maybe a little bit jet lagged from the Pacific to the Eastern time zone there, but nonetheless, working pretty well right now. And yeah, a lot of sim racing this week in the last 72 or so, but that's typically the way we like it here at CIL. And going through again, trying to get just past that first lap, and these leaders running lap 11. So these drivers coming down to the end of the first heat, and big move on the second monitor from the Drexel machine, and yeah, Jason Wallet a little bit wide right there, trying to make that pass. Was just going to say these drivers are going to try and do everything they can to get. We do know that the top 10 will transfer, and so the 11 car, Alex Diamond, Drexel University, he's going to want to hang on to that position right there, and I think he will be. I think he's got about an 8-second advantage over P11. That is Nick Stockner, for those of you keeping count.
Man, coming out of turn 5, if you hit that exit curve right, you can go a little bit wide, but it's just always so sketchy the way I just saw Athena Leclerc go through that corner. But now she's got a big run down the straightaway. She is in Christian Hill's draft. Let's see what she can do going into the corner.
She has. This is the draft we talk about. Awesome run right here. Doesn't make contact, pulling out. Looks like the front to rear tires are correct. Christian trying to use a little bit track. Not quite a move under braking. Yeah, and probably had to give right there Athena, and did pick up a 1X on the inside of that. So a little bit close quarter racing there between Christian and Athena, Mount St. Mary's and St. Clair. But good run from those drivers, and that'll be a battle certainly to follow as we go to the end. But you're looking right now at your front runners. That's P2 and 3, Ball State University. No team orders yet. That's still the running order of those cars. But I'll tell you who out, Alex, is 5 seconds up the road. You'll find Texas at Arlington and Nick Daly.
Absolutely. He's had a quiet race so far, knock on wood. A lot of these guys behind him are really going at it still.
Yeah, they are. As you see, the car number 49, that's Daniel Hunter, using a little bit of that exit curve to get on to carry some more momentum onto that final straightaway. You see right here, these cars trying to stay in the draft and carry as much speed as they can, as late as they can, down into the final turn. But yeah, Alex, I think this race, as we get in here, probably leaders coming to go this time by. It's been pretty exciting, especially in the midfield. See a little shout out on the roll bar, or the halo, perhaps. It's pretty exciting to see these drivers mix it up. And there has been a lot of action. In fact, right now, a couple of Orange Wheel Racing drivers, Nick Stockner trying to defend alongside. That's the 67 as well of Michael Tognati. These drivers are going to go about neck and neck. Excuse me, a little bit slow, Tognati. And so Drexel will also try and make way down into turn 10. And can the pass be completed? Not quite. It's going to turn back, and who can carry the momentum? Yeah, typically that outside car does get the advantage. So I'll tell you who the big winner is here is Nick Stockner. First of all, has run off with P11 from this gaggle, but Jason Wallet in position 12. is going to be playing a little bit of defense this lap.
Yeah, only a couple laps to go. That was a very awkward move there. So all 3 cars go off there, taking the access road. Let's see if they get any slowdowns and who has what kind of slowdown.
Yeah, I think so. I do see a couple calls. Jason Wallot with a furled black flag. That may be, that may be a slowdown right there. He's got to give that back. Everybody else seeming to be okay. But yeah, I'm sure all those drivers came through with a little time slowdown for that excursion. But it's not much of an advantage if everybody does it. So this battle certainly heating up, and can't forget that the 61. I think Alex's 61 is just waiting until her time comes to go ahead and make this move on Mount St. Mary's. But the 61 has been looking right there all race long.
Absolutely. Athena Leclerc has had opportunities to stick her nose in a place that it really shouldn't go, but there are times where she's realized, hey, this isn't a good situation. I need to keep my nose clean and fight later on, and she's done a great job doing that. And you know, that's probably the reason why she's still in the race. We saw a couple laps earlier through the chicane, she lost the rear end a little bit. If she didn't back out of that, that would have taken both these people out. But yeah, let's see, she's trying to make a move into this corner. Now that might hurt her going down this long straightaway. Let's see. She still has the draft. I don't know if she has the momentum to get significantly alongside into this chicane.
Yeah, they're going to be coming to the white flag right now. Don't know that she has the momentum to get anything done here, but this is going to be probably a great way to set up for next time. And you know what? She's right there. Let's see if she makes the move to pull out down inside Christian again. Not much quarter given. These drivers trying to get it squared away, and yeah, just about as close as you're going to get without contact. Both cars doing a little squiggly wiggly down through the final sector and now the final turn, and the 61 has one more lap to try and complete this pass, and she has her hands full. So does that 085.
Absolutely, this is going to be a really exciting battle to see if Athena can get around Christian. Athena goes wide through turn 3.
She did. That was not what she needed right there, and that's that battle decided. Christian Hill probably going to come home in P6. The other one I'm looking at is these drivers. The 11, Jason Wallet, has just made some progress. The 11 of Alex Diamond, that is Drexel University. I do see Peter Gaspich on pit road, so not how he wanted to do this. So I think that Nick Stockner
Muhammad Alif has a big run going to the chicane.
Bump up into 10, and this is our Muhammad Alif for the final run. Down in the corner, he will complete that pass, and no team orders there. Yeah, he's just getting that position back from, he was a little bit loose earlier. Caught some grass, and actually gave up third position. But coming to the checkered flag, and a little bit like the Bahrain race, our leader had pretty uneventful. Nick Daly is going to be your winner. But as we get through the scoring tower, Christian Hill is going to make his way down the hill, crossing this line right now, and then Athena Leclerc will be behind her. Or him, excuse me.
Abs, that was a very interesting first race. I can't wait to see what happens with the invert. We're gonna have those fast guys that didn't have to really do much, and they're gonna have to fight their way through the field. They're fast. There's a good chance they will, but it's really gonna be how quickly, and it's gonna create some interesting situations going into the race too. As all these drivers come to the line, chance to reset. Everyone's gonna be nose to tail again. People learned from this race, and they're gonna have a chance to apply what they learned in the next heat.
Yeah, that is, and I don't think there were too many surprises there, but it was fun to see. I'll tell you who did surprise me. Athena Leclerc with the P7 was pretty quick right there, and Nick Daly absolutely put out the gap in the end. Was just under 7 seconds to Ball State, and we've actually got an opportunity right now. Nick, if you've got a copy, Walk us through that race. Tell us how it was from your perspective.
Yeah. So yeah, the start of the race was pretty fun. Went side by side through the turn 10 chicane with the leaf on 2 laps. I think my lap one was kind of rough when I was in front of a leaf, but through the S's, there's kind of not much you can do. So I was able to keep them behind me, and then I think a leaf just started battling with Cale Davidson, and then after that, I could just break away and run some nice clean laps.
So Nick, that race you were fortunate to get some clean track, and you didn't really have to do much. Just pull away and keep the car on track. Going into race 2, where you know you're going to be inverted, how does your thought process change going into that race?
Yeah, it's gonna be very different. Main thing as always is just to stay alive and not get pushed off or push anyone else off. Um, Usually, you can take advantage of some mistakes from other people. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of chaos, especially lap one through the turn 3 and the S's. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, thank you, and good luck in the second race.
That was your Heat 1 winner, the Texas at Arlington driver, Nick Daly. Always see a lot of pace from that car and that driver, but parked it, Alex, here in race 1. Drivers now with an opportunity to have a little breather in between sessions as they get re-gridded. And so we did confirm that your pole sitter for the second race will be that 1-2-4 car. That'll be Nick Stockner. Drivers going to take a break, get a water. We're here in Georgia, so maybe they'll be stopping by, getting a burger and a soda from Stetson Bennett locally here. But these drivers come on. We got Andrew Burrell and other drivers just turning laps, kind of getting set and seeing what other lines can work. Temperature hasn't really changed much. Sometimes the track can be changing. Actually, Tsukuba 2 weeks ago, the track increased in temperature kind of significantly, but it's been pretty casual so far here, Alex.
It has been, but Josh, are you familiar with the second law of thermodynamics?
I am, but maybe you'll have to refresh me.
All right, so for anyone that doesn't know what the second law of thermodynamics is, the entropy of the universe is always increasing, which means that there's always more disorder, more randomness going on. Here we are in the second race. We've introduced an invert. You're gonna have these fast guys starting 10th, 9th, 8th. Gonna be some slower guys up front, and that's just gonna create more craziness. I can't wait to see what goes on.
Yeah, race 2 has traditionally been my favorite. That law of thermodynamics might be a little bit out of context, but it's going to be true here. The chaos is going to ramp up. These drivers are going to be battling close. Those drivers that we saw maybe back out of turn 5 or turn 10 are definitely not going to do that in this race. This is where the excitement is. So we'll get to see these drivers get sorted out, and we'll see who we get to talk to at the end of the night.
Absolutely. This race, it's only going to be 15 or so laps. This isn't a long time. In fact, the movie Ford versus Ferrari was filmed at this track. We don't have 24 hours. We have 15 minutes. These guys are going to have to go right away, and that might cause them to make some decisions they wouldn't otherwise make.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. And in any race, if you told me either 15 laps to go or 30 minutes to go, that's the closing stages of any lapped race or endurance race. And so these drivers will be on for a sprint in the truest sense of the word.
Yes, they are. Warm-ups are ending. All these drivers will be returning to the grid. Adrenaline's going to be pumping if it, didn't stop before. And we're going to see some great racing.
Yeah, I think we will. And coming to us, it is time now for the drivers to grid and for us to read the second grid for the second heat.
Yeah, this second grid tonight, top 10 from race 1 are inverted, so your pole position winner for the second race tonight is going to be Nicholas Stockner out of Clemson University, and to his outside is Alexander Diamond from Drexel. In third place, it's John Dinkle from Rose-Hulman. In fourth place, Athena Leclerc. We saw her charge up through the field in race 1. We'll see if she can do it again in race 2. Christian Hill out of Mount St. Mary's will start in 5th, and Cohen Evans in 6th. Daniel Hunter, the second St. Clair College car in the field after Athena, will start 7th, and then Cale Davidson from Ball State in 8th. R. Muhammad Alif will start in 9th after finishing runner-up in race 1, and Nicholas Daly, your race 1 winner, will start this race in 10th. Back behind them, Andrew Burrell in 11th and Jason Wallet in 12th. They finished in those positions for race 1, but it's about time we get going here for race 2, Josh.
Yeah, these drivers gearing up. Those lights are going to be coming off shortly here, and you can see on your grid, that's the 1-2-4 of Nick Stockner. These drivers ready to go. Road Atlanta, a little bit unique in that you get to start around the curve as these drivers finish it off, but quickly coming over to cover off, though. Maybe not the start he wanted for Clemson University. Got to leave room on the inside. He'll be the back of 3 wide as we go into turn 1. Can Jason Wallet do it? Trouble. We are not surprised to see it in the turn of the second race. Those drivers will have to figure it out, but we follow along now as these drivers are going to go and get through turn 1. Your leader right now is John Dinkle at Rose-Hulman University machine right now. He's making his way first around this second race at Road Atlanta, and look who is in second position. Christian Hill is going to try and have something to say about that. I'll tell you, Alex, immediately I see that 49 car finish third, but somehow has made his way up to third in the matter of half a lap. Incredible. After the invert, that's going to be a car to watch. He's trying to get to the front ASAP. And these drivers are going to be able to figure it out, but lots of action back in the pack. Nick Daly still trying to make a move. Can he make a move with the draft down? You can see him to the side of the 61 right there, and down into the corner. You can see these leaders now. Can Christian Hill defend from the 49 car? No, gives way, and St. Clair through to P2, and you can bet that's going to be filling the mirrors of the leader. Ball State University, that's R. Muhammad Ali. Excuse me, that's a 17 car at Ball State University in the identical livery. But Cale Davidson moving through to that next position. So the running order as these drivers cross the line: Dinkle, Hunter, Hill, Alif, and Daly. That's going to be the top 5 of these drivers right now, Alex, but they are moving around too quickly to keep track.
Absolutely, that was a crazy start. We had drivers going 3 wide in turn 1. Unfortunately, some of them made contact, but even still, for these Ball State drivers to make all their way from, the back part of the top 10 all the way up to the front part of the top 10 in just a couple corners, that's incredible. That's going to put them in a really great spot for this second race.
That absolutely is. Just a couple tenths separating these drivers up at the lead, which is a lot right now. Back through the pack, a lot of drivers trying to get it figured out. Big group of Orange Wheel Racing drivers there, starting about P10 on back. No inverts here. Everybody trying to get as far as they can, but you see right there, R. Muhammad Alif trying to make a move on Christian Hill. We know he'll be late on brakes. I'm sure he's got that bias, turns backward, maybe even giving it, just completed before the corner right there. A lot of pace from that 12 car, who's actually eclipsed his teammate in the 17 Ball State machine. Nick Daly trying to do the same effect. He'll come up through, and right there. Can he get the pass completed? He's got the inside. That's where you'd want to be, but for the lead, Daniel Hunter taking a look, maybe spooking the leader just a little bit. Will it be too wide over the blind crest? No, not quite. Everybody back in line. Nick Daly does pass, and these drivers are immediately at each other's throats, Alex.
Wow, these two leaders going at it has brought R. Muhammad Malif. Oh, wow. Daniel Hunter, a lot of oversteer. Overcorrects it. I can't tell, did he hit the wall? Oh, yes, he did. Unfortunately, he did. But R. Muhammad Alif is in a really great spot. He's now second coming onto this back straight. He's got one more car to pass, and he's got clean track ahead of him. Let's see how this gets done. Because if he doesn't do this quickly, we got Nicholas Daly right behind him.
Yeah, he totally does. He's trying to break that draft as much as he can. Riding on board here And yep, looking to the left of the Rose Holman car. Going to be an opportunity on the brakes. We know he's good on the brakes. Can Rose Holman hang tough? John Dinkle going to fall in line. Actually, maybe a little bit tactical there from Dinkle, just not to give up that second spot so quickly. But yeah, on the inside right now. And look who is first and second. I'm going to assume that pass gets completed. And there it is, Alex. But yeah, that's going to be new leader, Ball State University, to the point in the form of our Muhammad Alif. And not a surprise there, and Nick Daly. And I suspect that we will have quite the show for the next 11 laps or so. These two drivers are going to be on it, Alex.
Absolutely. That was absolutely great racecraft from Nicholas Daly. He was able to time that run correctly to be able to, get second pickings off of the leader there former leader of John Zinkel. But Nicholas Daly is now second place. He's going to have a really good chance down this long straightaway in 2 corners.
Yeah, he totally is. We've seen the move. It's a textbook move, so the P2 and P3 cars will have an opportunity going into that final corner. And actually, you know what? A run off the corner. Dinkle in P3 did not get the run off the corner, so it's going to be Nick Daly all to himself. He can be a little bit more. There's not a close car behind to protect against. And you can see right here, both these drivers going to be trying to go as deep as they can into this corner, but they need that momentum. And you can see wing to wing right here. And the 12, is he trying to give it up early and get some momentum back? I don't think so. I think Texas at Arlington is going to complete this pass, at least for the time being. I don't want to write anything in stone, Alex, but it looks like new leader across the line at the moment. It's going to be the 280 car. Yeah, and it's not going to last for long.
Nick Daly is driving defensive lines, which will keep the spot, but he's going to compromise himself for upcoming corners. So that's something he's going to have to know. And of course, we still have the back straight that, huge draft. This is still very much a 2-horse race. Just because Nicholas Daly has the lead does not mean that he's necessarily going to keep it.
Yeah, that's totally correct. And so this is going on at the front. This is for the race leaders. Both these drivers trying to jump across. Not sure how nobody got a 1X in that ordeal. But yeah, Cale Davidson and Ball State University are also trying to move up. He's going to look to the inside of Christian Hill, and he's going to use the upcoming long straight to do it. In fact, you can see him entering at the top of your screen right there. Gaggle, 4 cars in a line. And that is going to be tricky. In fact, IUPUI as well. And Athena Leclerc trying to make a move. Can Athena make a move down into this long run? As you can see, maybe not the run that the 17 wanted. And really stacked up are these cars behind. Cohen Evans is going to have choice of assignment as he tries to go down into this corner. But yeah, 61 almost alongside in this instance. Does she back out? No, not here. And yeah, just that corner. That's a 17 car. He's still got the position, but a lot of defense right there. And big trouble. Is it 3 wide? Can't tell, but everybody gets it figured out by the time they get to the line. Yeah, all these drivers are trying to get those positions.
Yeah, we saw Athena Leclerc try and make a move on the inside of turn 10A. Unfortunately, that put her in a bad situation for turn 10B, and that lost her all the momentum going down the straightaway. That gave Cohen Evans behind a really good chance to get around. Fortunately, Athena Leclerc was able to block off the run. But it's something to be mindful of, just because you're going for a position, try not to compromise your own position.
Yeah, that is totally correct. Small note that Lucas Santos, University of Minnesota, went around there just coming to the line. So has that car pointed the right direction again, but again, a bummer. The luck continues for Santos and the University of Minnesota. But Cale Davidson trying to look pretty optimistically going down into this final corner. He's got the run. Well, he's got a lot of time to pull up alongside, and we'll see if he can be as strong under braking as his teammate. But yeah, Christian Hill. And you know what, Alex? I see that Christian really enjoys as drivers are to his side into that, and they do touch. Big issue. And yeah, Christian comes together with the 17 car of Cale Davidson. Those cars get set together, but not with those drivers, not what they needed. But yeah, Alex, I can't say I'm surprised. Those drivers were hustling for several laps.
Yes, Race Control has noted the collision between those 2 drivers there. Let's see what happens going into the corner.
Yeah, back under replay. In real time, it's so tricky to tell. It did look like there was a little bit of loose, a little bit of grass from that inside car, that Ball State machine. Kind of went right for the apex. Maybe was leaving enough room for Mount St. Mary's, but yeah, the margins are thin here. So, Alex, again, I got to say I'm glad that I'm not the steward tonight. It's much more fun to watch all the action. But nonetheless, Mount St. Mary's is going to have their hands full here. Athena Leclerc is going to attempt the same move after just seeing small murder on track. Alex?
Yes, actually, I'm looking at Cale Davidson. I'm looking at his onboard. He seems like he's struggling with the handling of that car. Possibly might have some camber issues, as we see. I believe that is Andrew Williams making a move on his teammate Andrew Burrell. He's clearly going to get it done going into the chicane. And he's going to try saying sayonara. Cale Davidson's going to get a huge run here. He might even get Andrew Burrell here too, and he will get it before the next corner.
Yeah, that was pretty tricky there to keep the momentum up, and Ball State took advantage there. We'll have to see if that car handles as well, or may have a lot more aerodynamic drag, as we've seen to be a pretty big bummer on that long straight in the back. But Athena Leclerc right now still trying to go to work on Christian Hill, who is playing some really strong defense. I don't know if he's making a lot of friends out there, Alex, but the defense is legal so far, and it seems to be working.
Well, we'll see how far that goes. We still have a bit more of this race. You know, eventually you put your car in a position, whether or not, you know, it's your fault for the collision, eventually one of the times it's going to hurt you. So let's see what happens here with Christian Hill and, you know, how he's going to defend going on. And also note, the stewards are looking at an incident between Christian Hill and Cale Davidson. They have not made a decision yet, so he might potentially have a penalty between one of those two drivers, but we'll see.
Yeah, that would make this battle very straightforward if the 085 were to get a time penalty for that. But it's going to be pretty tricky to say whether or not that is the case. Of course, lots of drivers will be eager to see the replay after this one. But right now, as they stand, Nicholas Daly has pulled out a second-and-a-half gap over your second-place Ball State University and R. Muhammad Alif. John Dinkle still keeping that elephant machine from Rose-Hulman University in third position, but the battle continues on right now. Boy, if I'm Christian Hill, I would just remove those mirrors because there's about 4 cars that want to be in his spot. Christian Hill hanging on to that top 5 spot. Yeah, it's pretty hard to pull away. Athena Leclerc knows that.
Oh, we have someone spinning out in front of this pack. It's Aaron Quo, the lap car from Binghamton University, making, I believe this is his first start of the season. He's going to let the entire pack go by. They're going to get bunched up, and they're going to go down on this long straightaway and battle it out.
Yeah, that was excellent. Cale Davidson, you mentioned it, is going to try and make a move. Hopefully he didn't lose too much momentum on that corner exit, but going down into the corner, these drivers are neck and neck. Small advantage to Andrew Williams in that 23 orange machine. But can he do it, and what can the 61 do up ahead of him? Yeah, not quite clear. We're going to say too wide into this one, and these drivers going to figure it out now. It looks like back the switcheroo and a late defense, but a little bit. Oh, we switched to the 085, and finally the 61 put in some position on the inside, grabbed a little bit of curve, bounced up into, but open wheel cars not making contact. She's got the line going down into turn 1. Can she complete the pass right here? I think she's going to do it, Alex. That is a new 5th position. That's going to be Athena Leclerc is going to take that position right there. And Andrew Williams continues to defend from Cale Davidson. I was going to say, yeah, they had a little bit of a sneaky move into the final corners, but they agreed. So still, these 4 or 5 drivers continue. And let's not lose sight of that purple car in the back. That is another Clemson University machine, Andrew Burrell. Actually, Andrew Burrell sneaking by the 17 machine. A little bit of an off track right there for the 17 machine. He now finds himself behind the 888 car, who is off in the final corner. And Alex, maybe nobody wants.
Yeah, I think someone might have put a sign up saying, "Hey, please mow our grass." I think some of the drivers have been taking the job after.
Maybe there's a special prize for P8 that I'm unaware of. That would be the position that they continue to jockey for. But yeah, that is, as a recap, the 61 in P5. So St. Clair College and Anthony Leclerc, your 5th position runners. 6th place is going to be Christian Hill and Mount St. Mary's. And then you can see right there, Andrew Williams and Clemson University is going to try and advance their P7 position. Andrew Williams finished 9 laps down in Heat 1, but Alex, the fun part of these dual heat races is you can come back and be in the action. So Williams and Clemson making the most of his and their opportunity.
Yes, I'm looking at Andrew Williams, and he's really pushing. I'm seeing that car slide around a bit. This is the point of the race where you're just kind of pushing all or nothing. We're on lap 11 of around a 15-lap race. This is where, people win championships. This is where people win races. This is also where people lose championships and races.
That is the case, and there's a small breathing moment, but Alex, we're going to take 90 seconds and go back and ask Nick Stockner about that opening lap. We saw the issue, Nick, at the outset of the green flag. Maybe not the launch you wanted, but walk us through it.
Oh, well, I mean, just, yeah, like you said, didn't really get the launch I wanted and had the tire spin. John Dinkel and Diamond there forced it 3 wide. I tried to cover off Dinkel, but realized he had the inside, so I kind of just stuck it there in the middle, just hoping I could, make something happen out of it. Stuck it there into turn 1, and it was the product of 3 wide and got pinched, and I came up at the blunt end of it, really, in all truthful honesty.
I think that's what we saw as well, but yeah, pretty unfortunate. And is that all for tonight, or is the car getting worked on still?
No, we're pretty much done. There was no real chance of getting back in and scoring points, and just happy that race 1 worked out enough to where we were able to salvage a point. Didn't really have much pace in it, but the car overall was doing okay to score a point. We scored 1, and that was really the target of the weekend, was just to get a point somewhere, and we found one.
Gotcha. Well, always good to find the victories there, and watching your teammates have some more success on track from Clemson. But Nick, thank you for the time, and best of luck this week and next week.
Well, no problem, Bossman. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was Nick Stockner, who we remember from lap 1. Yeah, you heard it, 3 wide at the outset of this race, and nothing doing there. Again, Alex, can't say we're surprised, but going down into the final corner, a couple Clemson cars trying to compete together. Andrew Burrell is trying to make the move, and maybe they touch. I don't see any incidents on my screen, but looks like Andrew Burrell giving a little stiff arm right there, and coming out the better. Both those drivers may be giving back slowdowns, but we'll have to wait to find out. Alex, it was a pass, but maybe not how he planned it. And it was a slowdown.
John Dinkel has crashed in turn 3 into the tire barrier. He seems to be rolling, but he's spun and lost time.
He has lost time. That car actually not looking too damaged, but that is not what he wanted right there. And yeah, John Dinkel right here. Oh, just tried to rotate the car, and actually, yeah, that's about the best case it could be. But not what Roseholman or Dinkel wanted. Man, such a kind of like Stockner as well. A lot of pace from that car, and that's too bad. But yeah, we've seen Dinkel at Tsukuba, and now this week, Alex, Roseholman and Dinkel have really shown a lot of pace.
Absolutely. All these drivers are really pushing at the end of this race, as we see Christian Hill making a move on the 17 of...
yeah, I think that's Cale Davidson. Yeah.
He's going to get the job done. I wonder if from that earlier contact if Cale does have some sort of damage. But these drivers are all pushing it. I believe during that issue with Nicholas Stockner, I witnessed 3 cars in a row. I saw Leclerc, Hill, and Williams all, go wide turn 5 and do a little bit of a jump. These guys are all pushing it. Some aren't able to keep the car straight, but others are pushing it and are able to do so. Christian Hill just hit the wall too. Same corner, turn 3.
He did, and it looked like a replay, just trying to get that car turned around. You can see here he's sliding, and just grabbed that outside curve. That was a hard lick, Alex. That will be some if he can get it turned around. In fact, he doesn't even drive it back. He towed straight to the pits.
Yes, unfortunately, that's going to be it for his race. We are coming to the very end of this race. Let's see, is this going to be the final lap?
Yeah, I'm looking at Texas at Arlington right now, and that white flag is waving right there. And so, going to be good. Excuse me, that might be the checkered flag is waving. We'll see if he lets up the pace. But yeah, Nick Daly jumping out to a 5-second gap. Excuse me, this is one more to go. So he's taking the white flag and still on pace is Nick Daly and Texas at Arlington as the battles rage behind. But yeah, pretty tricky. I think, Alex, we've learned this race. Race pace must be paired with patience. It's been pretty tricky for these drivers who have found a struggle to balance between both.
Absolutely. These guys are on the edge, and it's so easy to go a little bit over, especially with the iRacing tire model. It's all about who can go hard and who can go hard without going too hard.
Yeah, it does seem. And we'll see. It feels a little bit far back, but watching Athena Leclerc at St. Clair College, we'll see if the draft can be really helpful. She's got to nail this exit right here and keep her momentum up. Get the car turned in, get the curb. Yeah, I don't think that was quite what she ordered. And we'll see if the draft can put her alongside into this turn, but that looks like a pretty far gap for these F4 cars to close.
Yeah, she just took a early apex in turn 7. I don't think that translated to momentum down the straightaway. She will get some draft, as we see Nicholas Daly take the checkered flag. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, Nick Daly does complete that and got that through, but Athena Leclerc will come home in 4th position. Awesome run still for that driver, that school, St. Clair College. And Andrew Williams, Cale Davidson, after a few excursions, going to bring that Ball State, Michigan home in P6. We talked about John Dinkle, the softest of run-ins with the tire barrier. That's going to be a P7. Just no damage, just time lost for that team. Your top 10 is going to be Michael Tognati, Andrew Burrell with a last lap pass. Michael Tognati and Alex Diamond from Drexel University. That's going to be your top 10. And man, Alex, I would call that a race.
That was a pair of some really nice races that we saw. First race, a lot of midfield action. Second race, we saw some of the action, between the leaders and also with some of the mid-pack guys. A really great night of racing overall. And in the end, Nick Daly, gets the sweep. Our Muhammad Alif finishes second twice tonight. And overall, we saw a bunch of really great racing.
Yeah, we totally did. Awesome run from these drivers. A lot of skill. I expect a little bit more contact in that final chicane, but a lot of drivers opting to race closely together, but allow each other the space that was needed to make the race happen there in that turn 10.
Yes, I believe in turn 10 A and B. I think these drivers realize they don't have a chrome horn, they have a carbon fiber horn, and that they weren't able to get away with contact like that. We did see some of it, but, for the most part, people are backing up, trying to fight another day.
Yeah, I think so. That seems to be the case for these drivers, and again, pretty fun to watch. And such talented drivers, these students who are out here and really competing closely and with a lot of respect for each other is pretty awesome. But I tell you what, we have the opportunity now to talk to P3, and that's going to be 3rd place from IUPUI, Cohen Evans. Cohen, congrats on 3rd place, and walk us through both those races. You had pace and several battles in both of those races.
Yeah, so race 1 didn't work out as well as I thought it did. I kind of had a couple slow corners in the first couple laps and lost the draft, so ended up just losing the draft and having to fight for like 5th, 6th, and eventually just made my way up to 5th and was able to break away, luckily. And then race 2 was kind of the same, except I was able to catch up back to the draft and then just chill there for a bit and see what happens, and got a couple of places off some spins and whatnot, and then made a couple moves, and then eventually I was just in clean air fighting for 4th and then eventually 3rd. And that's it.
So Cohen, there were a lot of battles in the midfield. How did you navigate them? What was your way of trying to get around everyone?
Well, my goal was to just try to not battle because from what I was saying, that was trying to making people lose ground and lose the draft. So I was trying to battle as little as possible and just hang in there. And I think that's what ended up helping me so much. It's just staying clean, keep the nose clean and whatnot.
Well, that's fantastic. Before we turn you loose, is there anybody that made this possible you want to give a shout out to?
I'll just shout out my parents as always. You know, they're always supportive of me.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Cohen, congratulations on the P3 and awesome run tonight. We had fun watching you.
Yep, thanks.
That was Cohen Evans again from IUPUI right there in Indiana. Man, that was pretty exciting, Alex, to watch him move through the field and to watch him employ some pretty good racecraft with some talented drivers around. Coming in now, we have our second place finisher in the Ball State University car. That number, Muhammad Alif. Congratulations on P2. Awesome run tonight, and walk us through, especially in that final race. How was the pace compared to the leader? It looked like clean air was really important tonight.
Yeah, it was really, really important. I think I just couldn't really get much of a rhythm going, especially into sector 1. A lot of practice is needed, I think, to find that groove. I think Nicholas did a great job, obviously, with his pace. But yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a struggle for me, but I mean, all in all, I think it was still a good round in terms of points.
All right, Muhammad Alif, you have some real world experience in Formula cars. How did that help you get through turn 1? I believe you started 9th, and you ended up out of turn 1. I believe you were 4th.
Oh, that was that was hair raising, I'd say. I mean, seeing cars like flying up and getting spun around, and I think the key was just to stay out of that line on the outside, just stick to the inside, stick behind the car, and just stay safe. I think that's been my motto for all these races in Formula C, especially for the second race. There's no point really diving up the inside, on someone who won't really or don't really have that much of pace. So yeah, just keeping it clean and bringing the car home was always the number one priority.
I think that's a pretty good priority. Is there anybody that you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, my teammates, Ball State University, RLL Racing as well for sponsoring us, and Team Flash. And yeah, my parents as well, and my friends who are watching along. And yeah, everyone who's watching, see you guys in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on a really good second place finish. 2, in fact, on the evening. So congrats again.
Thank you.
That was P2. Muhammad Alif from Ball State University, and bringing in now for the second time this evening, back by popular demand, Texas at Arlington's Nick Daly won both heats by a margin of over 6 seconds. Nick, that was some pace out there.
Yeah, let's go. My first double win in a race. So yeah, I'm really happy with that.
So as you came in, what was your strategy for the second race? I think it was pretty tricky right there and a pretty eventful first turn for some drivers in the second heat. But how did you manage that?
Yeah, turn 1. Yeah, I figured that something would happen. But yeah, so I just hugged to the inside. I saw cars going flying off into the barriers. So yeah, safe place is to stay on the inside and then try to get through cleanly, and then made a pass through the S's, which normally doesn't happen. So that was cool. And then I kind of just followed Leaf through the field. He would go and put people offline, like through the turn 10 chicane, and then I could get the run out of it and just kind of get a little bit of a freebie with the leaf doing kind of the hard work going through there. And then we both got to the front and we battled for a little bit, and then yeah, was able to pull away from him on pace. So pretty happy with that.
All right, Nick. You had to do a lot more passing in the second race than you did in the first one. How were you able to set up those passes? A lot of guys are struggling to set up passes, primarily coming out of the chicane. How were you able to set those ultimately win the race?
Yeah, well, yeah, like I was.
Davidson coming home in 6th place. We saw him have a couple incidents in that second race. And John Dinkel in 7th. Andrew Burrell out of Clemson University will finish in 8th. And Michael Tognati in 9th. Andrew Diamond from Drexel in 10th, and his Drexel teammate in Jason Wallet just behind him in 11th. Peter Gaspich, another Clemson University car, finishes in 12th. Lucas Santos finishes in 13th out of Minnesota Twin Cities, and Nicholas Patinella will finish 14th. At the back of the pack, Dan Banner finished 15th, and then a couple cars a few laps down. Christian Hill, we saw he had good pace, but unfortunately ended up in the turn 3 wall. He finished 16th. Aaron Quo in 17th, and Zach Lindler from Lennar Rhine in 18th. A couple other cars who finished way back, a couple laps down. Daniel Hunter out of St. Clair College. He had good pace, but got involved in a bit of an incident and ended up in the wall and had to retire in 20th. I skipped Tyler Klickensmith from Robert Morris University. He finished in 19th. Nick Stockner from Clemson University. He was our pole position holder for the second race, involved in a turn 1 incident that sent him into the wall. Terminal damage for him. He'll finish 21st. And last, Matt Stewecki out of James Madison will finish 22nd.
Yeah, good run for a lot of these drivers. And yeah, Daniel Hunter, Alex, maybe my what could have been the story for the evening. He had pace all night long, even a 4th place finish in the first race, and great position. I think top 5 when he just overcorrected, found some grass at the start of the S's. Really no different than we saw from I think from Christian Hill and the Rose Holman machine as well. But that was pretty tricky. And yeah, looks like he terminally ill. But I think that's my thoughts, Alex, on Road Atlanta. I don't think it disappointed, and I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks from now. We take Tuesday night to Canada, and we go to Montreal, and that's another track lined with walls. And so that's going to be another challenge for these drivers, and I think we're going to get to see them duke it out again.
Absolutely. I think the Wall of Champions is going to come into play there. In all seriousness, though, St. Clair Community College is going to get a hometown race, finally a race in their country. And we're going to see some more exciting action, a nice long straight for passing to get done.
Yeah, I think so. The draft will be in effect. But that's the conclusion of tonight's Formula C event. And awesome race here at Road Atlanta. Congratulations again to Texas at Arlington and Nicholas Daly for bringing home the biggest trophy of the night. That's all from producer Matt, myself, and Alex in the booth. Have a good night, y'all. Stay fast.